Shwak. Today I'm super excited to welcome you all to Behind This Hangar, Non-Tech MRO Career Insights. Thank you everyone for joining us this evening. So, whether you're a student, a recent graduate, or just curious about to know the world of aviation beyond the cockpit. So, today we are thrilled to be joined by Mr. Himanshu Gaur, Manager Material Service Management, who is here to take us behind the scenes of aviation MRO and help us understand the incredible career opportunities, especially for non technical professionals. Before we jump in, so Himanshu, welcome on board.
Thank you so much, Ashwak. It's a pleasure to be on board. And I really hope that my insights would be able to help your audience and as well as everybody on the call right now.
Yes. So, to warm up things up, could you share a fun fact about your first week in aviation or a surprising thing you learned early in the career?
Hmm. So, my aviation journey started, let's say, around 3 years back. And before that, I was working with different industries. So, fun fact, the terminology is completely different. So, I attended my first meeting, and the discussion was happening that, okay, we want to carry out this entire setup with the interface XYZ. And coming from an IT sector, for me, interface was an interface of a tool. However, in this organization, the interface was an individual person. So it took me some time to understand, okay, how do you relate? How do you connect? But yeah, all well in together. And I'm really glad that I had an opportunity to start off with aviation and also to guide the new joiners how they can do it.
Sounds great. So, guys, all right, let's begin our journey. So, Himanshu, can you briefly introduce yourself and walk us through your journey to becoming a manager at Material Service Management?
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. My name is Himanshu Gaur, and I'm currently working as manager and material service management for one of the aviation, or I would say, leading aviation MRO organizations in India. And my journey from education background started with bachelor in physics, which was driven by curiosity and some critical thinking and logical mindset. And it's been almost 11 years for me in the industry, and I work across different domains, different functions, from telecom to AI, and now aviation MRO. But primarily, for my focus was always on building teams, improving processes, delivering results, and I've led almost like 140 plus individuals so far. And before joining this, I was also part of AI development organization. Worked there for almost 3 years, and my journey with MRO started in 2023,
Great.
wherein the role was specifically on around the senior leadership role. How do we drive the teams? How do we manage? And how do we upskill the entire process?
Sounds great. So, uh, if I have to ask, like many of the participants here, including me, today, we are exactly uh, come from different backgrounds, different academic and all,
Mhm.
right? So, could you like, can we get some more information what exactly an MRO is and some more details about it?
Absolutely. And CMRO stands for maintenance, repair, and overhaul. So when we talk about the aviation, we talk about the aircrafts. We talk about the fleets. We talk about its components, its technicalities. However, apart from the fleets and the airline that we use for, right, what happens in the background? Who does the maintenance of these aircrafts? Just like any automobile industry, right? How does it repairs? How does it changes its component? How frequently they go through a testing or the license, or I would say compliance? Taking care of all these segments fall under the MRO umbrella, not just for an existing airline, but each and every airline that is running around the world right now have to have an MRO support, because that, or apart, because without that it cannot function at all.
Got
And
it.
yeah, and also, for example, if aviation being one of the most safest travel route, it has to have a very strict and diligent, I would say, compliance and safety and security measures. So each and every component, each and every material cannot be reused without a proper testing. So that's when the MRO falls into and comes into the picture. And I would say it's one of the backbone of the entire aviation industries because before or without it, I don't see any airplane or any aircraft flying in the sky.
Got it. It's little clear now. So, so Himanshu, while the spotlight often shines on engineers and pilots, you know,
Yep.
what are the hidden but essential non-tech roles that keep the aviation industry running? Like, and how do these roles contribute to India's growing presence in MRO?
Hmm. So definitely technicians and engineers are the ones who carry out the maintenance. They are the ones who repair the aircraft, who repair the components in the hangar, takes care of the maintenance. However, they also need a backend support.
Hmm.
And when I say backend support, they need people who can take care of the entire inventory of the components from a small spare part or a screw to entire a big engine. And at the same time, you need people to have this communication with the entire team to source these material in the open market, to take care of the entire supply chain, to take care of the entire logistics processes. You need people who are very extremely intelligent in business analysis, who can carry out and do a forecasting model to see how many aircrafts are there right now, how many would be added in the future, what is the removal rate of these components, how frequently it needs to be changed, basis that well in advance, how many components we do we need to have in our inventory. And ranging from a sourcing, inventory management, material planning, logistics, supply chain, to customer facing roles such as who deals with it, who interacts with the customer needs. Everything is a backend support, I would say, a non tech role that is a scope for any individual in an MRO domain.
Sounds interesting responsibilities.
Absolutely, it's a big one. Imagine you don't do your job well and there's an aircraft which is going to
Correct.
get grounded. And consider yourself a passenger, right? You had some plans, you book a flight ticket, you had some plan to go somewhere.
Correct.
Suddenly you get a call that the aircraft is grounded or due to some technical issues, we have to delay the flight for 2 hours or 3 hours.
Right.
Yeah. So it does not happen because the engineer is not there. It could be any reason, but one of the prominent reasons is that we don't have the material that is required to support the aircraft maintenance. And it's fall on you. It's your responsibility.
That's where MRO comes, right?
Exactly.
Got it. Like, why is MSM so crucial to the smooth operation of aircraft maintenance? Like, and what are the real world consequences when MSM processes
Hmm.
are not efficient?
So MSM, and or as we say, material service management,
Correct.
it's behind the scenes. So it's the front line is the aircraft being flying in the sky. You have team.
Mm-hmm.
However, they're the one who actually works as the back spine, or I would say the backbone of the entire MR organization. How do you repair an aircraft? Who does it? When does it? And when do they need it? In how much capacity? Everything falls into the MSM role. So they are the one who keeping the entire inventory for all the components across the globe, across the sites, across the locations, and not just for one airline. I'm talking about more than 180 plus airlines in the world. That would be a fleet size of more than 1,000 aircrafts.
Got
And
it.
let's say if the job is to make sure that we have enough material at specific location to
Mm-hmm.
avoid any aircraft on ground, and if it's not there, then definitely it's a huge impact, not just on our business but at the same time to our customer as well.
Got it.
And
So
if the flights are impacted, then definitely the operational cost also goes up because then the airline also has to then compensate for it, and also at the same time the organization would have to then source that component at a very high price if the right planning is not being done.
interesting. So let's jump to the next question. For freshers and graduates aspiring to break into aviation
Hmm.
MRO, like for exact, like especially in non-tech roles, I mean, what skills or certificates or entry level positions should they be looking for actually? How can they build something to stand out their profile?
Okay. So first of all, you have to be a graduate and you need a passion for aviation. Though the education background, even I would say for my team, I'm not very peculiar on hiring engineers, but at the same time, I need people who understand the impact of their role in the entire aviation industry. And more than that, I really need people who would have analytical thinking. They're good with analysis. They can read the data. They're very good in communication bit. They
Got it.
know how to work under pressure. Their problem solving abilities at par, and they know how to work under pressure. And at the same time, if you have and if you know the basics of aviation, you know how the industry works, you have at least some introduction what an airline does or MRO does, then I'll be more than happy to have those candidates on board.
Got it. So some research work background, working under pressure, and versatility are the three things that I could see from everything that you are telling, right?
Definitely. And this is more of a, I would say, very mandatory, or I would say the basic line. However, if you talk about MRO, right, as I said, it's not just metal service management. We need also people who can keep a track of if we supply a unit to a customer, how often is it coming back to us? How do we negotiate with the vendors? How do we communicate with our customers? How well do we go in the market, try to source the right component? How are we good with our sourcing and our forecasting models, our analytical things? So we have, I would say, around more than 18 plus rules as a backend non-tech MRO jobs. And everything starts with your passion for aviation and your keen interest to grow and learn.
I want to like what entry level positions can someone be looking for getting into this? Like,
So for us, it starts with an internship.
mm-hmm,
So if you're a fresh graduate or you are still in your last semester, if you're looking for internship, then we do offer that. And second, or I would say the next step is a full-time employment.
okay,
Though we, based on the skills and the niche requirement that are required for the role, but we are also open to hire freshers. At the same time, as I mentioned, if they are fulfilling all this requirement, then we are definitely good to have an interview and screening round with them. Otherwise, the job starts as an executive or junior executive. It goes then executive, senior executive, and so on and so forth.
yes. Uh, Himanshu, what does a typical day look like for someone in your position? Like, what are the biggest
Mhm.
challenges that you face?
Globally, so I would define my challenges into three different segments, right?
Okay.
First would be the people challenges. The Indian entire dynamics is very, very strong. We have a lot of competitive
Mm-hmm.
organizations, and our candidates or our employees are very aspirational as well. Though the industry demands you to be a bit firm in the role, to understand this domain, to
Mm-hmm.
understand the criticality, and rather than just focusing on what is your job from A to B, but also to understand what happens in the background. What is the impact of this entire thing on the entire business model.
Got it.
So people changes is definitely one of the challenges. But more than that, if I talk about specific to business and process, global part shortage, global piece part shortages, manpower sometimes at the workshops, and at the same time shrinkage at our planning side impacts our role big time. And in case if there's any geopolitical issues, any embargoes,
Mm-hmm.
any conditions wherein one country doesn't want a component from other specific countries, so then it limits our opportunity to supply and make the metal available. So these are the few things which makes the job, I would say, not challenging but yet interesting, because being into metal service management, your role is to navigate through all these challenges and to make sure at the end you are meeting the customer demand, you are providing the material to an aircraft, to an airline, so that at the end the aircraft is not on grounded or the customers are not impacted.
Oh, sounds really good. Uh, can we know about any softwares or tools that are
Mhm.
used usually here?
So entire supply chain works primarily on the SAP model. So
Okay.
SAP ERP, SAP HANA is going to be introduced, but then it could be one of the certification that you can go for. If you are really looking forward to have a career into supply chain logistics, then this can be one of the key gateways. At the same time, you should know how to run basic Excel for your basic analysis. And at the same time, the industry is evolving big time now. And the roles are not just limited to theoretical part, but then they're also integrated with the analysis and analyst roles, right? So if you want to develop yourself into supply chain, then integrating it with some data analysis certification, some Tableaus, a Power BI, wherein you can
Mhm.
visualize the data, you can
Mhm.
present the data, and then you can get some inference out of the data to create a more concrete plan or to solve your problems. I would say it's the way forward for anybody who's going to start their career at this age.
Great. So thanks a lot. Like I'm getting amazing answers. I hope like all our listeners too out there who's watching it live or who's going to watch it will now have a very clear idea even without a technical background.
Absolutely.
So guys, Hruday, shall we keep a QA session from our audience? If
Yeah.
uh, questions about this, or Hruday, you have any question?
No, I have no questions to ask Himanshu.
All right. And just to for an invite from my end as well, in case anybody has any questions regarding how do you develop your career from, let's say, one education background which is not relevant to what you want to do right now or in future, please do let me know. And me coming from a physics background and being into aviation, then during my 11 years of career working for telecom, e-commerce, and at the same time through different roles and responsibilities, I
Mhm.
would definitely be able to provide some insights and guidance.
Thank you so much, Himanshu, for the valuable insights.
You're welcome. It was pleasure to be on board.
Thank you so much.
Thank you again.
All right.